been just wild as hell for all of us. So how's you been, man?
Awesome. Life is amazing. Great summer. I'm actually ready for the summer to come to an end, or when it comes to an end, I'll be ready.
Right. I'm kind of in the same boat right now, dude. These kids being off of school has got me. It's time. It's time to go.
Oh, you have little ones.
Oh, I have 3. Yeah, I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and I'm sure we're gonna make more. I don't know.
Oh God, don't do it.
Oh, I'm sure at least 1, possibly 2. It depends on how many more boys, man. I have to carry the family name because I'm the only one that can produce boys for some fucking reason.
Hey, dude, I got one. Yeah,
you're fucking right, you do. I'm talking about in my family, though. Anyway.
All right, Dave, I don't want to burn too much of your time, bro. Man. I know we're kind of late, so we're going to go ahead and get it going if that's cool.
Now, we're bring my memory back here. Your brother over here.
Yeah, Jacob.
Is the one that doesn't think we live on a flat earth, right?
Right.
And
correct.
You were going to get a tattoo of me on your lower back.
I feel like the placement of the tattoo is up for debate. I'm not saying no. I'm saying we'll see. But honestly, man, for our episode today, I do have a couple of questions that I want you to field as far as the flat earth debate goes. But then I also want to spend a little bit of time talking about why. Like why
my favorite on the globe. Favorite.
Who's to gain? You know what I mean?
All right.
Oh my God. I mean, if you want to go there, that's the deal closer right there.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So
that's what we need to know.
I definitely want to riff on that for a while, but I definitely want to hit a little bit of a couple more questions as far as the hows and the physics and shit like that.
Let's do it.
Hey, man.
All right. Hello and welcome to the show. This is the Cult of Conspiracy, and my name is Jonathan.
I'm Jacob.
And today we have back the Flat Earth legend, Dave Weiss. What's going on, my good sir?
What's up, boys?
Man, it's been a wild ride. How you been?
Good, man. I'm looking forward to this conversation. And I think tonight, if all goes well, I think Jacob on the outside there, for me at least, will be getting a tattoo of me on a place to be determined.
We will see, man. We'll see how it goes.
There is that, and there's also the counter argument.
Oh,
if Jacob wins and convinces you otherwise, I believe that there's a
3 Bitcoin.
3 Bitcoins.
Which I got to tell you, man, with the crypto crash or whatever it's going on, I have no idea what Bitcoin.
Well, right now, Bitcoin, 3 Bitcoins worth about 70 grand, soon to be worth 30 grand. Okay, but it's still 30 to 70 grand. You can't go wrong. You can't lose.
No doubt, it's 30 grand that I could definitely find a place in my budget for. You know what I mean?
You'll probably just have another baby and then another baby.
Yeah,
right.
We're gonna be really honest. That's where.
Well, that's actually not a bad plan. You know?
Yeah, man. All right. So first things first. When we last left off, I had asked you a couple of questions about flat Earth. We talked about gravity. We talked about Coriolis effect. I believe we talked about the seasons. We talked about different things. Now, I did want to ask you about this. All right, let's talk about stars real quick. Okay. And this is also a debate that whenever even a globalist, or I'm not going to say globalist, that's a very negative connotation. A globist, a roundist. What do we call them?
Heliocentrist.
Is that what I am? A heliocentrist?
You're a heliocentrist. Yeah. That's
okay.
Nice.
Thank you. All right. So when a heliocentrist asks me this question as well, I honestly don't have an answer for them because it doesn't exactly fit into what I know as far as physics. I'm not a genius. You know, I know a little bit.
Let me just start off with a little something. In the heliocentric model, we live on a rock that has water on the outside of it, with air on the outside of it,
right,
adjacent to a void, a vacuum.
Right.
That's scientifically impossible. So anything outside of there, we're talking nonsense. So you want to talk about Narnia, lights in the skies, right? We'll talk about them, but it's no way to prove the shape of the Earth. Just for example.
Sure.
And I might have done this with you before, but if I didn't, it's worth it. If our sun at noon was 1 mile over your head, the surface of the sun was a mile over your head, it would fill the entire sky, right?
Right. Okay.
Moving 93 million miles away, now it's the size of a nickel held at arm's length, right?
Right.
So they say.
So, well, no. So Well, I mean, we see. I mean, at the those are the sizes and distances. We're going with the heliocentric model. We see it at the size of a coin. If we moved it a mile over us, it would fill the whole sky. No question there, right? It's like holding a BB a fraction of a millimeter below one of those big yoga balls, and you're on top of the BB. That's all you're going to see is the friggin' yoga ball. Okay.
Sure.
Moving 93 million miles away, which is 8 light minutes, and it's the size of a coin. Double that distance. How much smaller is it? Quadruple that distance. How much smaller is it? 8 times that distance. Could you see it?
Right.
Scientifically, you couldn't. Wait, we can prove that. That's a light hour. 8 times the distance is a light hour. Okay. Now, a star that we all know that we can see is Polaris. It's right off the Big Dipper, right? It's an average.
Isn't that our North Star currently?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Currently. Look at you.
Well, I mean, in historically speaking, there was another different.
Oh my
star.
Lord!
I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. You know what I mean? But anyway,
so, choked you up a little bit on that one.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So Polaris is 46 times bigger than Earth than our sun. They tell us. Let's make it. Let's say it's even bigger, 48 times bigger. Well, what's an equivalent distance where we couldn't see it? Scientifically provably couldn't see it from its angular size being too small. That would be 48 times 1 light hour, right? So 1 light hour, 8 times as far as our sun. Well, 48 times farther is 2 light days, right? 48 hours, 2 light days.
You hear what he's saying? Light days. That is an actual unit of measurement for light speed. That is so incredible to think about.
Well, they talk light years. Light years. A light minute is ridiculous. Okay. 1,186,000 miles a second. Okay. So at 2 light days, we scientifically prove that the angular size of that star would be invisible. But it's not a light week away, a month away, a year away. It's not 100 years away. It's not 200 light years away. It's 433 light years away. And somehow we see this bright little star in the sky. Give me a break. So all the descriptions of the stars is nonsense. We just proved it. Space is nonsense. Adjacent to a vacuum. You want to talk about something in the sky, lights in the sky. Well, those lights are small. They're here. They're close. How come we don't have different size stars? How come they're all the same size? How come they're all like at the same focal point?
And that was kind of what I was going to ask you.
How come when we zoom in on them with our P1000 cameras, they get bigger, right? If it's trillions and trillions and trillions of miles away, how's my little 125 times zoom going to make it bigger?
See, that makes sense to me as well. Okay, now look, Mars, on occasion, we can see it in our sky, right? It's the red star. Every so often comes close enough. When you look at that through a telescope, you see Mars, right?
You see, hold on.
Hear me out. No. I'm on your side on this. Hold on. Let me finish. When you look at the moon through a telescope, you see craters, and it is larger in the telescope.
Hold on.
Right? Hold on.
Go ahead.
When you look at a star, it is the exact same size. Right? It gets a little bit bigger. How could a star, there is no human-made object that could make a star look big enough to where we could see the definition, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you on this.
This is what Mars really looks like. Not like what NASA and Disney show us. This is what Mars really looks like. Now let's look at Mars. On a clear night when Mars is out and Jupiter's out, they're pretty bright. They're brighter than some stars.
Sure.
Okay? Right? So if you were on Mars, is the sun the size of a nickel held at arm's length like it is here, or is it the size of maybe a pencil eraser, right? Because you're farther away. It's smaller.
That makes sense.
So now you're standing on Mars. What's the surface of Mars like? It's dusty, dirty, desert.
Sure.
Okay. And you have a distant sun. That sun has to light up the dusty, dirty desert, which is not reflective in any way. And then that reflection has to travel all the way to Earth. Using the inverse square law, which is every time you double the distance, it's 1/4 of the brightness. Somehow it gets to here and it looks like a star.
How the hell?
It's called let me explain it to you. It's very easy. I'll explain it both ways. When you're looking at a light, you hold the light right next to your eye. It's bright as hell.
Sure.
Move it. If it's a foot away from you, it's really bright. Move it 2 feet away from you, it gets dimmer and dimmer because light spreads out, right? Light is like a balloon. I have a balloon. I put a little air in it. The rubber is the light. I blow it up to a foot wide, that rubber is thicker. I blow it up to a mile wide. Is there any rubber at all? Okay. Light spreads out as it goes. It's like sound. Like if you were a half a mile away from me and I said, yo, you wouldn't hear me. But if I had a PVC tube and you were listening, I could go, yo, and it would channel my voice wouldn't spread out and you'd probably hear me. Okay. Right. Fiber optics, keep everything nice. But if it comes out the end, it just spreads out. Yep. Light spreads out. Simple test. Get a box about this big. Get a little LED light, dark room, put it in the middle of the box. Get a light meter, measure the wall on the box, okay? Then put it in a box maybe 2 feet wide. Do the same thing. It's way dimmer. Then just no box, just use the room, a whole room. You won't even see the light on the wall, barely. You know, it depends on how bright it is. Then put it in a gymnasium. Can you even detect the light on the wall, right? That's because light spreads out. So when I was talking about Polaris, I'm just talking about the angular size is impossible at 2 light days.
I'm with you.
The brightness is insane. On a full moon night, when we see the moon, I could read by it. I could drive with my lights off. It casts my shadow on the ground.
Oh, right? On a full moon on a clear night, it's damn near like the sun. It casts shadow.
Right. But we're told that it's a dusty, dirty ball reflecting sunlight. Well, when you get halfway to the moon, it's 4 times brighter. Halfway again, 16 times. Halfway again, 64 times. Right? And then when you get about to 100 miles from the moon, it would be like over 60 times brighter than the sun, than we see the sun from Earth. Could you imagine the sun twice as bright as it is? No, nobody can, because nobody's seen anything that bright, right? But the brightness that the moon would have to be for us to see it at the distance they tell us is
it does not equate.
It does. Woo! I'm going down. I'm standing on a wobble board. That's why I sometimes fall down.
It's late. On a wobble board,
I stand on a wobble board, right? Because I do this all day. Like if I just stand there, I'm just fucking gonna die. Right?
So, you're right. So if you stand or sit, it gets cumbersome. So you're doing this. I like that, man.
That's why I'm always moving around, because I'm on a wobble board.
I just thought it was because you like to move. You're like got ADHD like me.
I do. It actually keeps me focused, because sometimes when I stand here talking to Globers, it just drives me nuts. No, I like you guys. I'm just kidding. I'm just fooling around. I actually like talking to Globers better than the flat earthers, because flat earthers, we like agree on everything. I'm like, oh, damn you. You.
In the conspiracy world, we get the same thing, man. We feel like we're in an echo chamber, right? Every now and then somebody will come up with a new twist on an idea, but after doing this for about 2 years, it's like you've heard everything, and we have to bring in outside sources to make it to break up the monotony. So I definitely feel you on that.
All right.
What I was talking about the stars, right? And I'm like I said, I actually am in agreement with flat earthers on this one, okay? Because if what they tell us is true, hypothetically speaking, and again, I am a glober, and this is still something that jacks me up. The stars are in the sky. The Earth is spinning how fucking fast, right? And we're going around the sun how fucking fast. And we're doing this constantly through a solar system that allegedly is moving through time and space in an actual motion all its own. How is it that we are looking at the exact same stars every single night if we're spinning and doing all that shit? Not to mention, if we're spinning as fast as they are, how do they don't look like just lines across the sky at night?
I don't know. All right. You got me. Earth isn't moving. It's flat. Nice work. Okay. I'm a flat earther now. Okay.
No, I'm not saying that. I am saying that is a point.
What are you saying then? If you're not saying that, what the hell are you saying? This is the motions you're talking about. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. The rim velocity is ridiculous, and the Earth would explode. Okay, we're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour, and the entire galaxy is moving sideways at 2 million miles an hour or something like that. Okay, hypersonic sled track, Mach 8.6. Ready? Keep an eye on it. Up, can't even friggin' see it. Right? We're orbiting the sun in a curved path, speeding up and slowing down, turning at all times, never going in a straight line, always turning. Okay, at 10 times faster than this. We're chasing the sun at 100 times faster than this. You can't even comprehend that. And then you go out in nature and you see this.
Right.
Men lie. Nature doesn't lie. Okay?
Right.
Men lie. Now, you're going to keep saying you're not a flat earther, you're a glober. You have to give me what, if you believe something, anything, you have to have a supporting reason, a logical, let's say scientific supporting reason. give me your one reason that the Earth is a globe, and don't say the lights in the sky, because we just proved that they're nonsense.
No. That wasn't a point to prove a global look at. I'm actually agreeing with the flat Earth model, because that actually is something that I can't explain through science that I can understand. You know what I mean?
But here today, we're not allowed to say that we believe something unless we have supporting evidence. So if you say that you believe the Earth is a globe, you have to supply one piece of evidence. Okay. And give me your Bitcoin address when you do.
I actually don't have one, but I'll make one. But anyway,
I was gonna say, if you're, I was gonna say, give me your seed words, and then I'll just take all your money.
All right. So, what I will say is, if I had to really pinpoint it to, I might have like 2 or 3 of them, but the number one, no matter what, I cannot have a flat earther convince me otherwise because of ... Right?
Go.
I would say it's mostly gravity.
Ugh.
No. Listen.
All right, we're gonna go there. I love gravity. Gravity's a great one. Gravity's a great one. And I'm just having fun. All right. Don't get upset at anything I say.
You ain't gonna offend me. I promise you.
All right. So in the flat Earth model, the sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode. The land is the salt bridge. The salt water carries the current, and it's this battery system. And it's been proven that you can pull free energy out of the ground. Okay. And this is going to lead into the why later. The why. Okay. Right. This is who benefits. Okay. So you got this system. So they tell us that if you Google, is the Earth magnetic? Is the sun magnetic? Yeah, it's a big friggin' magnet. Well, they tell us magnetism is 36 times more powerful than the imaginary gravity that they theorize. You know, when you have a scientific theory and you come up and then something shows it wrong, you throw it out and you start over. But in scientism, in the globe, in heliocentrism nonsense, they just add shit to it to make it work. Oh, gravity's not working. Let's add 96% dark matter and dark energy that no one's ever measured, no one's ever seen, but it has to be there for our theory to work. So therefore it has to be there. That is retarded. Okay. That is absolutely retarded. All right.
Okay. So now my question, you say the Earth is magnetic.
Well, right? Hold on. You don't forget what you're saying. So that's 36 times more powerful, but I don't think that's what makes things go up and down. I think it's the electrostatic charge of the Earth, where the only 2 real forces are magnetism and electricity. Okay. And they're brother and sister. The Earth has a negative charge. The sky, the air is positively charged. And anytime you lift something up off the floor, it's surrounded in a positive charge. Well, the Earth isn't moving. It says down is this way. Now, guess what? It's a weak force, but guess what? It's like 10 to the something power times more powerful than gravity. It's a ridiculous number that you can't comprehend. It's like more than 20,000 times more powerful than gravity. Let's pretend, and we have to pretend, that gravity is real. Okay? Nobody knows how it works. Gravitons come up and they grab you. Okay? We know the electrostatic force is real. When I drop something, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'll drop my mic. How do I prove that it's not the electrostatic force bringing it down? Let's look at what the electrostatic force is. Okay? Here's a little example. We have some helium balloons tied to this button. There's a button at the end of this wire, and this wire goes to a Van de Graaff generator, which can create a static charge. So the ground is negative. It's up in the air, so it's positive. Now we're going to crank a positive charge into it, and it gets heavier. It goes down.
Okay.
And as soon as we discharge it, we take it, let it go back to its natural charge, it goes back up. Now, did we just change gravity? Did we change the weight? Or did we change the electrostatic potential? Now let's look at the opposite.
No, okay? You changed the mass of the helium.
No, I didn't. No, didn't touch the helium. All we did is made the button have a higher positive charge.
All right. So just so I understand the full experiment here, there is no wire or anything connecting the plug into the wall to the balloon itself. They have
the balloons are tied right here. Just so you see how it's tied. And this wire is resting on the floor, but the balloons are strong enough to pick up the end of the wire, and it found its neutral spot. It's just there. You know, if I taped a penny to it, it would fall down because it's heavier. Right. Okay. So we just add a positive charge to it, and it goes down. And we take it out, and it goes up. Well, what about the opposite? What if we put a negative charge into something? It goes up. Now, are we defying gravity, or are we playing with the electrostatic force of the Earth? Buoyancy and density sort everything else out, but down is down because the Earth isn't moving, and it says, I've got that neutral, that negative charge. And anything that's not negative charge. Now, you know, the real secret space program is done, is using this type of propulsion. right? MIT just announced they have an airplane that has no moving parts.
Yes, I remember hearing about this. I actually read an article. I didn't.
No moving parts. What are they doing? Are they making it anti-gravitic, or are they changing the electrostatic potential? Spiders use their webs, and they charge their webs, and they fly across the earth by using the electrostatic charge.
I thought they were taking the ions out of the air, which are positively charged, right?
They're changing the charge of their web, which lets them lift off of the ground because it's changing the charge. Right.
See, I didn't know how they got liftoff, how it stays airborne. Right. Once you get to a certain stratosphere, ionosphere, whatever the fuck sphere, you could take the ions out of the air and pretty much power full electric power off of the air. So I understood how it stayed in flight. I had no idea when I read this article how it actually got up there in the first place.
Right. So I just showed you a whole bunch of scientific proofs that lead to something that's testably, measurably, scientifically provable by anybody. And you're still holding on to Santa Claus's gravity because
I want to ask you about what you had just said. Now, first things first, you said that the Earth is magnetically charged. All right, I'm with you. Now, why does a magnet, when you take two magnets, then you can let them go and they hit each other, they make the loud noise, all that shit,
or they push apart, or they put, or depending on which way they go. Go ahead.
So that being said, why does one of them not stick to the ground because magnetically charged that way, and the other one shoot up in the air because magnetically charged opposite?
Because they're lying. Because the sun isn't a physical object that's a magnet, and the Earth isn't a magnet, and the other planets aren't magnets, and they have charges and fields around them, but it's all controlled. The Earth doesn't move. If it did, it would go ping-ponging, and it would bounce off of some planets and stick to other planets. It would be a whole mess. We'd all be dead.
That's not what I'm asking them. That's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
Let's say the little mags I have stuck on my refrigerator right now.
Yes.
Okay. And I actually have some at home. One of them is north, one of them is south, and I know that we and the kids play with them. Cool.
Sure.
That being said, why whenever I drop one of them, one doesn't go to the ground and one of them doesn't go up into the air? One's like going towards its positive and one's shooting up against what its opposite is.
Because it's not magnetism. Like if you had a magnet and you had a steel plate close enough to it, it might go up because the magnetism will pull it up. But it's the magnet you have is more dense than the air around it. It'll go down. Now on the way down, if there was like something metal there, it might go down and stick to it. But if there's nothing for it to stick to, it's not using magnetism. It's
using more dense, right? It's more dense in the air around it, which I agree with. If it's more dense in the air around it, why does it drop to the ground? Because we're talking about the magnetism of Earth is the reason why gravity.
No, it's not the magnetism of Earth. Listen again.
Okay.
It's the electrostatic charge of the Earth.
Okay, it's positively or negatively charged.
It's not magnetism. It's electrostatic charge. And if you crank electricity, the negative charge into something, it'll go up. If I put a negative charge into you, you'll go up. Maybe that's why when people get struck by lightning, they go flying in the air. Maybe it's because it electrically charges them. Okay.
But
who
knows? Said that electricity and magnetism are sisters. They go neck.
Well, they go neck and neck. Yeah.
Right. So then, why is the same not true whenever we're talking about a magnet against the Earth, which has a charge, which has a magnetism through electric charge?
A magnet is attracted to metal and to other magnets. Some magnet won't stick to a tree. Right. Magnet won't stick to an orange.
But it won't stick to copper either. It has to be a specific type of metal.
Correct.
Okay, I'm with you.
So if you have a magnet in the air, is there any metal around? No. Is it lighter than the air?
Yes.
No, it's not. It's heavier than the air.
I'm sorry.
I let it go. It's going to go down.
Right.
Not because of magnetism, because of the electrostatic charge. It has a positive charge. It's in a positively charged atmosphere, and it goes down because it's heavier and the Earth is attracting it. The Earth is not going to come up to it because the Earth doesn't move.
But doesn't everything have a charge?
Yes, everything does.
So that being said, you're saying that every inanimate object has a charge that attracts it to Earth unless acted upon by another force.
Absolutely. And if you look at all of the periodic table of elements, the charge equals the weight.
I was going to ask you if you believe
heavier things have more of that positive charge to it. Steel is more positively charged than feathers or whatever.
Sure.
Okay. And there's lots of information on that. You can research it and test it yourself and play with it and teach your kids. Teach your kids that gravity's nonsense.
So you do believe in the periodic table? You believe that the information?
I don't. No. I believe. I don't believe that there's I don't believe in the atom. All right, I haven't seen any proof of it. Nobody has. Right?
You can't cite the periodic table and then say you don't believe the periodic.
Well,
table.
The periodic table is talking about the charge of things. Okay, and do I believe it's in this atom things? I don't know. I haven't been there. It's not. It's above my pay grade. So let's just talk about gravity just for a second.
Yeah,
there's a thing called the 3-body problem. Okay. You can get a computer model, put a sun in there, you put a planet in there, put it in orbit, and the computer will tell you in 5 years from now, where will that be? Okay, bam, it'll show you, it works perfectly. Add one more body, either a moon going around the Earth or another planet, and the entire thing goes into chaos mode. Okay, so when and no computer can figure out what it's going to do. So they put 3 bodies in. Oh, it looks pretty nice and organized, but then something happens, it starts going a little haywire, and it goes into random, crazy, nobody can figure out what it's going to do mode. But somehow, with all of the model, all of our planets, all of our sun, all of the moons, they work perfectly, and we can figure out where they're going to be for thousands of years.
Why did it just go into chaos mode?
Because nobody can figure out, because gravity's nonsense. Because this is a gravitational model.
What I will say as far as gravity goes, I believe that what we know about it is not the entire truth.
What do we know about it?
That's my point. We know
nothing.
We know that objects of different masses fall at the same rate.
That has nothing to do with gravity.
No, I'm just saying we know. I'm explaining what we do know, like confirmed about gravity.
Everybody. No. You can't say confirmed about gravity. We can observe something, then you could tell me that it's gravity. But I think it's I don't know. I think I have enough just to make up another word for it.
But you could do this experiment at your house. You drop a bowling ball and a golf ball from whatever height, doesn't matter. You drop them and they hit the ground at the same time. Global, flat earther, doesn't matter. We can all agree that experiment can be tried and true. Everybody can do it. So we know that objects of different mass fall at the same rate. This
right. But you're thinking it's falling because of a fictitious, made up, debunked theory of gravity, and I'm saying it's falling because of something that we can scientifically prove and test that actually changes the how things go down and why things go down.
We disagree as to why they fall, but what I am saying is that we can both agree that they fall, right? I'm trying to find some common ground.
Sure.
So we can agree that they fall. We agree that they fall at the same rate, regardless of how heavy they are. We agree that air and wind differential plays a part, right? A feather will fall a lot slower than a bowling ball. Again, we may disagree on to why they fall at different rates, but we know that air draft has something to do with it. We can agree on this, correct?
Sure.
Okay, excellent. So see, we're already finding some common ground. Beautiful. And we can build off of that. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, I don't know how the gravity works, okay? Because the model
nobody does.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. However, there are certain things, scientifically speaking, experiment speaking, that we know can be tried and proven by anybody with the proper experiments. No kind of special instruments that lie to you, right? Chemistry, for instance. We know how to make chlorine gas because they tried and true method to get from point A to point B through a process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sure.
This is a recreatable event. We do it every day in facilities that make it. So we could build off of that. Now, I wanted to ask you about also, while we're still on the topic of electricity, and we're talking about electricity and magnetism, how they relate, right? Because they are sisters, and I fully agree with you on that as well. Okay. You say that the Earth is what charge?
Negative.
All right. Explain why. Because I, as an electrician, have always been told that natural Earth ground is a dead point. Earth is not positive or negative. It is a dead ground.
So when I say negative, it doesn't have a positive charge. There is you got to go listen to Ken Wheeler or Zach Zambala from what the hell is his name of the channel? Good Tims for All, right? Him and Cammie do lots of experiments with it. The Earth has a neutral. It's the ground. It's the ground. Yeah. So that's it. So we're on board there, right? Okay. Let me ask a question. Being an electrician, can you run solar panels without grounding them?
No.
Now, how do they do it on the space station?
You can find ground that's not to natural Earth ground. We have.
So you got to find space ground, like void space ground.
No, it's actually called a floating ground. We have to deal with it at half of my facility because this place was built back in the day where they didn't actually have the proper safety precautions. So we have a lot of floating grounds on half of my facility.
So floating grounds, what does that? Explain that.
All right. So, and if I'm not mistaken, you have a background in electricity as well, correct?
And solar power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So when you're running a 3-phase motor, let's say it's let's just go simple and say it's a 240, right? 240, 1 horsepower, 1800 RPM motor. Okay. Whenever you have to ground this to a place where you're not exactly sure if you're going to get a good 480 across the board. Okay. You know, you have at least good 480, or excuse me, let's say a 480 motor, just for the sake of argument. You know, you have a 480 motor, but you're not sure if all 3 legs are going to have a good 480 because ... name your problem that you have with your place or your power company. Doesn't matter. Okay. What you can do is you'll have 480 across 2 legs, but on that 3rd leg, you might have 220, you might have 110. You don't know because it's fucked up. What you do is you attach that to a floating ground, okay, which is it's a weird thing that you have to do at the substation, but it does work.
Can all 3 legs have floating grounds?
No, the entirety. Well, actually, now that you mention it, yeah, the entire 3 legs have to have a floating ground. One can't do its own shit. You have to have
so nothing is stuck into the ground.
No.
Interesting.
Okay. And so off of that, you pass it through a transformer, which will get all the 3 legs synchronized, and then it will run the motor. So when you're talking about a floating ground and you're talking about the sine waves and how that works, whenever you have a leg that's a little fucked up, and I'm not talking about because you like blew a fuse. Okay. I'm talking about the energy you're getting is fucked from the source. And no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to fix it without overhauling your whole system all the way to the power company or all the way back to your cogen unit or whatever the case may be. Right. You put a floating ground and then you run it through a transformer and you get that. So with that being said, we do agree that the earth is neutral. It's not positive. It is negative. It is dead. It is not dead in that sense. Electrically, it is natural earth ground.
Right.
Right. And to run any massive circuitry or any massive power grid, everything has to end at natural earth ground. Right. It doesn't work otherwise. So that being the case, unless it's a floating ground, but even that, if you really do want to quantify that in a way, more or less, you're grounding it off of itself. It's a really difficult process to explain, but it does work. So what I'm saying is the earth is a neutral. So why, if what are we as carbon-based life forms, right? What are we, positive or negatively charged? Help me out.
Depends on if you're off the ground. We're positively charged off the ground.
Okay, so if I jump in the air, for the time that I'm in the air, I am positively charged because of the positive molecules.
You're surrounded by a positive charge. Correct. You're not grounded. You're not grounded.
Okay, and as soon as I touch the ground, I am now grounded. So I am neutrally or negatively or positively. How does that?
You're grounded, so you're getting electrons from the ground. If you're truly grounded. Okay.
Now that being said, I want to bring up something else. I'm wearing rubber-soled Converse. I am insulated from the ground. So as I am sitting here right now, I am still technically positively charged, correct?
Be interesting to see if there's any weight difference in somebody that's, insulated from from or actually on the ground.
Now we're talking about within the microns of weight.
I wonder if there's a tiny little difference. I wonder. Right. And your whole body isn't going to change charges or anything. But if you get enough negative charge into you, you'll lift up off the ground. You'll probably also be dead.
I was going to say, okay, your corpse might be elevated off the ground.
Yeah.
So I just want to hear what your answer was to that as well.
Well,
so
it doesn't prove the shape.
I am right now grounded.
Yeah.
I didn't say it did. I wanted to hear your perspective on it. I've come to the conclusion that you and I are probably never going to agree, but I feel like we could also have respectful, open dialogue. And I would love to hear what your answer is to these questions, because even as a glober, I don't have the answer to these fucking questions.
I'm not the expert on that. There's other people that focus all on that. Come to Flattoberfest in October in South Carolina, and they're doing demonstrations of all of that, and you can have all your questions answered right there.
Hold on, give me the dates, because I might be in South Carolina doing
October 20, 21, and 22 in Greensboro, South Carolina. South Carolina, yeah, right over the border, Greensboro, and it's called Flattoberfest. FlatEarthFestivals.com. You can also find it in the app under the shopping cart. Go down to meetups, and it's in there.
Okay, so never mind. I'm going to be working that weekend. Boy, I'm about to say, because I might actually be there that weekend doing some fighting, because there's a team out there that I'm coming to fight. So
there you go.
Anyway.
All right, so let's go back. Next globe proof.
Okay, not necessarily globe proof, but I wanted to ask I wanted to present you a question and give me the flat Earth answer, right? So, what religion, if you had to, and I understand you don't necessarily agree with religion, I understand it as man's answers to questions that they can't answer. Fully agree with all of that. But in your personal flat Earth opinion, what religion has it best? What religion has it the most correct to the flat earth model of how the sun and the moon work, how we go through this fucking experience we call life? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about what religion has it best. Religion, organized. I'm not a fan of organized religion. I don't even know how to define religion the way I look at it. So I can't answer that question.
Okay, fair enough. I know the some Native American tribes, long story short, had a story about how this eagle was the sun and that lost a bet or something. One of its wings had to be covered, so that's why it rotates around, giving the sun to the entire flat earth. The Native Americans actually believe in flat earth, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the current tribes.
Right. They were the closest to Earth.
Oh, yeah. Right. They lived in a legitimate respect to the earth, respect to the animals, and in a harmonious balance with it all.
And those people,
good.
No, that's what I was saying. Since talking about flat earth and how the sun and the moon work, it made me think about a religious point because, I'm rather religious as a fucking jumping point. But that being said, it made me think about which ones got it the most correct. And the Native American actually kind of had the flat earth one on point.
If it is right. I mean,
since we last talked, I was in a movie called The Next Level 2022. You can find the link on flatearthdave.com, or it's The Next Level 2022.com. And watch that movie. It's going to answer a lot of your questions. Well done. It's highly entertaining. It's worth the $7.
Where can we? Oh, okay. So I was about to say, where can we find it?
You can find it at The Next Level 2022.com, or everything is at flatearthdave.com. Just scroll down a little bit. Can't miss it. Gigantic.
Beautiful. I want to say, Dave, I downloaded your app, man, and it's awesome. I mean,
Thank you.
I love that there, there were so many frequently asked questions, and they were all detailed very specifically, very perfectly.
Right.
I liked seeing the sun and the moon kind of rotate on the flat earth too. That's pretty cool sight. That's the way I kind of see it, to be honest with you. I see it as that.
You have lots of little kids. New books in the book section. Flat Earth Man now has 6 books out. They're amazing. You let the kids watch those videos. They learn all about the flat earth and how space is fake. Then you give them the book. The song is in their head. They go through the book. Mind-blowing how fast they'll learn to read. These books are amazing homeschooling books. You need all 6 of them. And there's going to be a 7th one coming out probably pretty soon.
Are you the one that's writing these, or
no? I'm not. It's Conspiracy Music Guru on the webpage. Here's his videos. These are he made these incredible videos, amazing songs. He's probably one of the most amazing musicians. And then the lyrics are amazing. The graphics are hysterical and funny. And then he turned it into books. Somebody gave him that amazing idea, and he turned it into kids' books. And they're fantastic. These kids love the song. They watch the video. They watch it like kids do again and again. I watch it again and again, probably because I'm a kid. And then they hold the book and they read the book, and the song's in their head, and they learn all the words. You probably have 2-year-olds reading if you let them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. My fiance is pregnant. She's actually due here in about 5 weeks. We're going to start our kid off right. Like, we're not vaccinating him. We're not circumcising him.
Oh, y'all
thank God. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God. That's all. Those are 2 great choices. Have the kid at home too. Have a home birth.
That's one thing that I can't talk her into. She's kind of a wuss for pain.
I would say go the all natural route. They have the birthing center in Baton Rouge, and you hire a doula. And
there you go. There you go. Have you guys looked at the Friend Finder? Have you looked to check that out?
Yeah.
On the app. And so these are just the people near me. It's insane what's going on. Here's the world, right? People, if flat Earth was a fad, some scientists would have come in and go, look, here you go, morons. The Earth is flat. Earth is a globe. It would have been over. But this has been going on, well, for centuries, but it's been going on since, the 2015 or so. 2014. But look at all the people. It's growing. And not everyone has my app, right? Not everyone has my app.
I wanted to ask you this. All right, yeah. Go on the app for a minute, but I just remembered another question I wanted to ask you, which I did ask you before, but I wanted to get a little more clarity on.
Where are you guys located?
We're in Louisiana.
You're in Louisiana. So yeah, can you see Louisiana? You can't even see it. It's buried. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
It's buried.
Shout out Louisiana, baby.
Shout out. A lot of smart people there.
Yes, we do. Dave, I I wanted to hear you guys kind of bicker back and forth there for a couple minutes, and then I wanted to input what I want to say.
Go for it.
Okay. So you guys are both very, you look at the world and the universe, if that's what it is, from a very materialistic, physical standpoint.
No, opposite. But
well, but hear me out as to why I say that. Okay, it's been long said that that perception is reality, right? Like, we've all heard that. That's kind of your argument, Dave. Like, look outside, nothing is spinning around. We're not going thousands of miles an hour. And your argument as well, as far as perception is reality, given all the scientific things that you've been trying to say too. What I think is that I don't know what exactly physical means. I know whenever I touch this table, it's there because I have sensors in my hands that are shooting back to my brain, letting me know that something physical is what I'm touching with my hands.
But we also know there's a series of vibrations that's slow enough for us to perceive as a solid.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that if we're looking at the Earth, flat or round, if all it is just our perception of what we call reality, then it doesn't necessarily have to be. It doesn't matter if it's round or flat, because you're kind of walking around. I know what you're about to say. You're kind of walking around and you have this idea that the Earth is definitely flat. So every thought throughout your mind is correlated with that thought in some form or fashion.
No. I try to prove it. So if I was there right now and I had a baseball bat and I swung it at your arm as hard as I could, that would fucking hurt. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
It would probably break your arm. So is this world not what we think? Absolutely. Is it some sort of simulation? I hate that word, but I call it a physical simulation. Okay. There are laws. There are physical laws, physics, actual physics. So if I punch you, you're solid, right? And so there is matter. How we got here, how it's all constructed, what holds it all together, that's a whole nother discussion. We can go on and on and on for it. But we're here having this experience, right?
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. Our thoughts create our reality. Everything you have in your life is because of the way you think, right? They don't want you to know that. In school, how much did they tell you? You only use what percent of your brain?
14 or
10%.
Yeah.
Einstein used 14 or something.
Yeah. So that's the goal of school. They don't want you using the other 90% that connects you with nature, the creator, that connects you with the information, the Akashic records, if you will. They don't want you knowing that you have all of this other power, this brain power, and they've dumbed us down and they've handed us technology to replace our natural technology. They've dumbed us down. We think that we're at the pinnacle of society. We're literally in the middle of the movie Idiocracy. Okay,
dude, I could not agree more. So,
let's get into the who benefits. And the who benefits is the people that are ruling this world, right? Creator, then man, then government. Government has climbed on top of man, is crushing us, trying to get on top of the creator. They're trying to become the gods of this world. Okay. So who benefits?
I'm with you.
Well, you know what? If I said you can never leave your house, you're going to be pissed, right? You're just going to leave your house. And I said, well, you can never leave Louisiana. You're going to leave Louisiana. You're going to go to South Carolina. I say you can never leave the United States.
Find anything.
Yeah, you're going to just keep on going. But if they put you on a ball, you don't realize that you're in jail. The ball is the matrix. It's a prison for your mind, right? And so they stop you from thinking big. They stop you from understanding that there is no shortages. There's no water shortage. There's no fuel shortage. There's no food shortage. There's no overpopulation. There's none of that, right? They keep you in fear. They keep you thinking that this is all that there is. They keep you thinking that you need government. They say, you know what? I'm going to take 35, 40% of your money. At the end of the year, I'm going to give you 5% back or 3% back. And you'll be like, yes, I got 3% back, right? Okay. They're using their monopoly money. It isn't real. Money is just faith-based. The globe is just faith-based. Government control is just faith-based. It's a religion. And if you live in their religion, their organized religion, then you are stuck. You are in jail. Who benefits? They benefit. Because in school, they say only use the 10% of your brain that could turn you into a good corporate slave. Oh, you're good at accounting. Oh, you're good at engineering. Oh, you're good at electricity, right? And I'm not knocking anything. I'm just saying this is the world that we live in, and they have us just being busy our whole lives, living paycheck to paycheck, having the weekends off, getting our victories through our sports teams and then thinking that we're free. Oh, I get to vote left. I get to vote right. Right? You're not voting for anybody. All of it is just a construct. Right. So and then they give you pride in your country. We're going to beat this country. We're going to beat that country. All the countries, they're all in it together. It's one big game. Right.
Oh, yeah. And you can tell that all the countries are in on it together when you look at the Global Economic Forum.
Yes.
And you also look at the Antarctic Treaty that was
absolutely signed. And this thing. Right. I want to say what that is. Every country we're fighting, but everyone agrees on Antarctica and everyone agrees that everybody needs this. Okay. Right. Okay. Wake up, people. This is all a game. The world is a stage. You remember who said that?
Multiple people.
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yes, Shakespeare said the world is a stage. Guess what? Shakespeare never existed. The guy that said
no, we just talked about this. Yes,
So the guy that said the world is a stage, and it gets worse. The theater that his plays were done in is called the Globe Theater.
Yup. Oh. Yup, it was. And it burned down and they rebuilt it again.
They rebuilt it to the best they can from the historical knowledge. 100 years ago, the technology was better than we have now. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there seems to be a reset that happens like every 150 years or less. Okay. We're right at that point. And guess what? It's not like the World Economic Forum, unelected people that are ruling the world, actually wrote a book telling us about the Great Reset. Oh, no, they did. They wrote a book. They named it the Great Reset. You can buy it on fucking Amazon, okay? Yeah. And people are too stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? They tell us everything.
So I want to ask you this, though, talking about what you're saying. So you're saying, and this is a simple yes, no. You're saying that let's call them the global elites, let's call it the upper echelon, let's call it whoever.
The NWO.
Sure. They are benefiting just by lying to us. If they were to teach children that the earth is a cube, it would do just as much damage as if they were to say it was a globe, correct?
They want you to believe that you're spinning through space, you have no control, an asteroid can take you out, you're weak, you have no power, right? When the complete and total opposite is true. But
you also believe in the laws of physics.
Hold on. All the flat earthers out there, we've all unplugged. We've all, and some have unplugged more than others. Some have stopped feeding the beast. But we take the fear out. Like, we know that nuclear bombs don't exist, okay? And when we hear someone on the news mention, oh my God, Russia's going to nuke us, we now giggle. Every cell in our body goes, what a clown, okay?
Hold on.
Nuclear bombs don't exist. Yes. Have you done the research? Have you ever looked into it?
There's a whole conspiracy about it, bro.
It's not a conspiracy. Yeah. So think about this. We'll just get into it for a second, and then I'm going to tell you where to get the information, and then you're not going to go check, and then you're going to have a belief rather than a knowing. Belief is the enemy of knowing.
I'm digging on this one.
Okay. 3 days after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the trains were running. The delis were open. They were selling flowers on the street. People were back to work. Does that sound like a nuclear bomb?
Where were people working and selling flowers?
Everywhere except where the bomb blew up some buildings. And who knows who was in those buildings? I don't know. There's video of them putting TNT, pallets and pallets of TNT there. Okay. There was no radiation. Plants, people, and animal are still living there. They've always lived there and thrived. There's more cancer here in the United States. And only one guy, for whatever news agency was, the Associated Press or whatever it was a guy that was allowed to take pictures and write articles for the entire world. Anyone that took a picture or wrote an article was put in jail. Okay.
So the people that have radiation burns, whose children are born with a
radiation is real, and the stuff that you saw is nonsense. So think about this: the radiation burns, the supposed radiation burns from nuclear bomb are you can imitate them with 5G technology. Right? Crank up the 5G, everyone's going to burn, right? They use the active denial system, and it burns your skin from the inside. It microwaves you, okay?
They didn't have that in the 40s, though.
No, how do you know what they had? They had freaking moving sidewalks and cell phones 100 years ago, okay? So,
yeah,
dude, you got to look, and in the app on the if you want to learn more, go to the web. Whoops, go to the web button, and you go down to mud floods and Tataria, and then start subscribing.
I tell you what, Dave, do you know any like Tataria mud flood people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about?
No. When I say know what the fuck I'm talking about, we say this exists. Why does it exist? Who did it? When was it done? We don't know. But we're showing you that it's here. Okay. Now hold on.
That could speak intelligently on it that we could have on the show because we.
Yeah. It's totally. I'm actually doing a show tomorrow morning with Autodidactic. Look him up.
We need to get with you on that because we have been trying to do a Tartaria episode for so long. But
dude, there's so much. There's so much.
The one guy that we tried to have on, all he wanted to talk about was just old world buildings.
Bro. They were like built in the 70s. That doesn't look like it could be built. It's like, bro, you could see the fucking concrete.
No. Go check out Autodidactic's channel. And these are things that take a little time. All right. And you have to get into it. And then also John Levy. There in the homeschool section, there's a John Levy button. Okay. Just start. His videos are 20, 30 minutes once a week. You need to watch every single video he's ever put out. Okay. Right. And then your head will explode. Your head will completely explode.
Right.
So
all about that, bro.
So the place to find out the information about the nuclear bombs. One other thing. The guy named Galen Windsor was going around, I think it was the 50s and 60s, showing that radiation from nuclear power plants was not dangerous. He was swimming in the pools. He ate the plutonium, and he was fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Crow 777 radio, 2 R's in Crow, CRROW 777 radio, and then episodes 053 and 400. If you listen to those 2 episodes in full, you will now giggle instead of have every cell in your. If you believe the nukes are real, whenever you hear a threat of nuclear bomb on the news, every cell in your body gets distressed, diseased.
Not me. Okay? I don't get distressed because I know that if any country, doesn't matter if it's us, them, doesn't matter. If any country drops a nuke today, the entire world comes down on them. That's why I giggle. Everybody's like, Russia's gonna nuke.
Well, so now you just have to have in the back of your mind, okay, no one's gonna get away with it, but the whole world is gonna be fucked. No, it's not. They can't do that. They have big bombs. They call them the MFB or the motherfucking bomb or
the Moab.
The Moab, yeah. Okay,
which we know is true.
You ever go to Vegas?
Donnie T done dropped that.
You ever go to Vegas?
Training grounds.
You ever go to Vegas?
No, but I'm going next year.
Yes, it's
all right.
Awesome.
So they taught us in school that nuclear bombs have like a half-life, the radiation of like thousands of years. Okay, something like that.
35 years.
Yeah, 30. Whatever. There's hundreds and hundreds of bombs were dropped 100 miles from Vegas. You're not afraid of that?
No.
Okay, there's no radiation there. There's nothing.
Well, I would have to be afraid of that. The radiation is localized. It doesn't. If they control it, doesn't have to blow it.
There's people that live in Chernobyl. There's people that live in Fukushima today. They're growing food. They're healthy. They're thriving. And plants, animals. It's all made up fear, right?
Wait, how is that made up? Radiation is. You said radiation is real, correct?
No, I not that kind of radiation. Yes, like if you stood in front of an X-ray machine, it's not good for you. Okay,
right.
But nuclear bombs don't leave. There's no such thing as a nuclear bomb, and the nuclear waste, because it's just a made up story, like the fucking moon landing.
We'll dive in on a whole story.
Yeah, you listen.
They still to this day can't grow certain things in certain areas, and we know for sure that, like for instance, the Fukushima. You brought that up. Yeah. They have a nuclear leak. They still have it. They haven't fixed it.
Have you been there? Have you verified it? Or are you listening to the people on the news that are lying to you that we went to the moon, that are lying to you about the presidents, are lying to you about the jibby jab? They're lying to you about everything, but you believe Fukushima.
Hold on. I don't believe the news for sure.
There's a guy that went to Fukushima, set up a camera, went in, walked around. He was checking it out, came out. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, nothing's going on here. He went in.
The record numbers of sea life that are dying.
They're lying. Have you seen one sick seal? Have you seen one? Yourself.
Seal. What are you saying?
Have you? You said there's sick sea life. Have you seen it? Have you seen the sick fish?
Dead ones. Have you?
There's dead fish in my harbor right now because they ran out of oxygen because the blues chase them in and they run out of oxygen. Okay. They're lying to you about everything. The news is fear, false evidence appearing real.
I agree that the news is all fear-based. I agree the news is not to be trusted. I'm talking about real people that live in Japan that are posting these things that I know personally.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here's another thing. You want to fake a nuclear bomb? This is how you do it.
Okay.
You blow up somewhere in the middle of Nowheresville, Alabama. Okay. And then they come in, they say there was a nuclear bomb, right? And then they take all the 5, I don't want to say it, the 5, A, B, C, D, E, F. And I said it before, but I don't want to get flagged. And they crank it up So they have those things. They need like 50 watts of power or whatever, but they haven't cranked up, but they can put like 50,000 watts in it. They crank them up. Guess what? Everyone's skin is going to peel off. Okay. I'm not saying they're going to do this. I'm saying they can do this, and they know that it works because they've tested this in Iraq and other places. So they crank it up, and then everybody that comes out of that area looks like they have radiation burns. And then the entire world will panic, and everyone will run away, and you'll be like, it's real. I saw my friend, his skin fell off. He died right in front of me. That's how they can fake it. Okay. They can fake anything.
So you're saying they had this technology in the early 40s in Japan. That you're saying
no, they didn't. You didn't see anything. You didn't see anything. You heard stories on the news. Okay.
No, but there's a lot of pictures and videos of survivors that have radiation burns. Kids were born deformed.
Do you know any of them? Listen, they make up anything. You can make up anything.
So right? Unless you can confirm it yourself with your own eyes.
So I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're going to go watch episodes 053 and 400, and you'll know they've done the research for you. They've made it easy. They've made it lazy where all you have to do is
you know you weren't there when they were filming 053 and
all you have to do is plug in your earphones and not do anything else but use your brain, and they show you the research, how to verify.
They show there.
All right.
They show you the information on how to verify it yourself.
So we know for an absolute fact, we've said this literally since the beginning of the show, that the technology of the powers that be are 50 to 100 or maybe even 200 years in advance to what we are aware of.
That's fair.
Sure. Them being 60 or 70 years, I am not surprised at it. My eyes don't even blink at the thought that the technology of 100 years ago is stronger than what it is available to us today.
If you say that they were even experimenting with the capabilities of 5G in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and it ended with these radiation burns, and they covered it up with the dynamite explosion. All right, we could talk on this, and I'm with you. I mean, we could
listen. You need it's 4 hours of Crow, 2 hours per episode. Listen to those, and then you'll know. You won't believe anymore. You'll know. Listen, we started late. I have another show at the bottom of the hour. I like a little time in between. What do you want to finish up with?
Honestly, man, I want to finish up you talking about the laws of physics. You said that you do believe in at least some of them. I'm asking, where do you personally, as a flat earther, speaking on behalf of all flat earthers, where do you draw the line as far as where physics that we know written down in books that we have studied in school? I understand the school system has been brainwashing us with you. Where do you draw the line as far as this is true? And at this point, all right, you're fucked.
I'm not sure of the question, but, I draw the line at saying that the lights in the sky are anything other than lights in the sky, because we have no proof of any of that. Sun, moon, and stars, the only truthful thing you can ever say about them right now is they're lights, period. And I can prove that because I can see them in the dark. Right.
Okay, but that doesn't defy any kind of law of physics that we're talking.
Well, when you say law of physics, large bodies of water lay flat. That's physics. Okay.
Gravity is physics.
No, not gravity. Large bodies of water lay flat. Right. They're flat for extended distances. Towers can talk to each other, and they need a line of sight. And there's some of them that are over 300 miles apart. Do the math, and there's no possible way. Submarines can use sonar. Sonar has to go straight. Sonar doesn't climb over a mountain a mile high, go down a mile, hit a submarine, and come back to the other submarine. But submarines can see each other over 100 miles away. There'd be a mountain over 6,000 feet tall in between them.
No, but ham radios are able to do the exact same thing.
Ham radios can go. They say it bounces off of the ionosphere. Maybe it's bouncing off the firmament. But we can see too far. Microwaves go too far. Sonar goes too far. The railgun goes too far. Lasers goes too far. They can see with periscopes too far. I can see across Long Island Sound with my naked eyes too far. And nobody does the math, because you do the math and it doesn't work on a globe.
But it works on radio.
All of the stars repeat. Go out and take a picture of the stars tonight. And then next year, same night, same time, go out and take a picture of all the stars again, and every star will be in the exact same position, right? You guys,
I agree with you.
Well, that doesn't work in your heliocentric spinning crazy actual, universe. So
and it doesn't work in the flat Earth dome sphere model.
What are you talking about? It works perfectly. How about this? We're corkscrewing through space. This is the Georgia Guidestones.
Why are we corkscrewing through space? What are you
This is your story.
That's what science tells
I'm
us.
saying
this is what science tells us.
That they're lying to us about why things are the way they are. I don't agree with why they tell us why the stars in the same place every night. I agree with you 100%. Okay. I disagree with a lot of the flat Earth model and the ethos behind it.
We don't have a model.
What do you mean?
We don't know exactly what this place is. We have a map that's pretty damn close, and we can prove it if you look at my clock. Wherever the sun is, if you know somebody that's underneath the sun, call them and they'll tell you, yes, I'm underneath the sun right now. So yes, the circling sun makes a lot of sense. The Gleason's map is the way to go. The Georgia Guidestones, you can see the North Star.
Destroyed.
So listen to this.
Globalism.
Listen to this. You can see the North Star through that hole, and they tell us, well, that's because it's so far away. All of the billions of miles we move every year, there's no parallax. That's ridiculous. All right. But then they say we're also precessing at a degree every 72 years. Well, it's been up for over 40 years. That's more than a half a degree. A half a degree would send Polaris way out of that hole. And it was still there. But now they've knocked it down.
Yep.
So now you can't prove it. Okay.
I love it. I am so happy they knocked down the Georgia Guidestones. I cannot express in words how happy I am about that. Fuck globalists.
Yes, absolutely. Dave, I know you're on. You're trying to get out of here, man. I know you got another show to get to. If you would, give yourself a little shout out, tell the people exactly where they could find you, brother.
If you want to find the truth, you're not going to find it on Google. You search flat Earth, you're going to get nonsense. You're going to get all the stuff they want to feed you. Anything that shows up in your feed, know that it's bullshit because that's what they want you to see. I mean, you can search A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions, a very popular video, unique name. It ain't going to show up, okay? But my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, just watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks. And at the end of that, you'll know that you don't live on a globe. Hit the archive button. Check out the Friend Finder. Check out the Frequently Asked Questions. Check out all the other resources. And Flat Earthers, we know that we can't be with globers, right? Relationships don't work. But we know that we can convert globers to be flat earthers, and globers have no idea that no flat earther is ever going back to the globe. So people are using the Friend Finder as a dating app. They're using it as a job app. They're using it, like somebody's looking to hire people. They send out a broadcast message to everybody within a radius and say, hey, I'm looking for people to do this. Bam, bam, you got quality people. It's $3, period.
And like we've said, this app is extremely well developed. It is extremely well made.
Getting better.
I'm talking prime time as far as an app development goes and answering questions. This app has it covered, man. Legit.
Yeah, and everything can be found at flatearthdave.com. There's already a knockoff by the Flat Earth Society type people, which is not flat earthers. It's government-run disinfo on the Google Play Store. So just go to flatearthdave.com, click the link up top, select your phone type, and bam, you got it. flatearthdave.com. And check out my I just started putting videos on TikTok, DITRH, deep inside the rabbit hole, just DITRH on TikTok.
I dig it.
Come and give me a follow over there. I got lots of little stuff over there, and I'm adding videos every day now.
Fuck yeah, Dave. Thank you so much for coming on the show, brother. Every time we have you on, we enjoy it. And while I may disagree with you, sir, I respect the fuck out of you. And I would love to make it to the Flat Earth
Flattoberfest, October 21st and 22nd, but there's a picnic on the 20th in the park across the street, and it's going to be awesome. South Carolina, flatearthfestivals.com, events, Flattoberfest. Click it, get a place to stay, get your ass there.
Hell yeah, man.
Absolutely.
All right.
Awesome, Dave. Well, thank you so much for coming on, brother. It was great talking to you again.
All right, guys. See ya. Send me a link when this is up. All right?
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
All right. See you. Bye.
Later.
Where is the curvature? Where? No curvature.